Hey team, in life or in karate, everything's changing. It's either growing or decaying or stagnating or developing, but it's not staying the same. So think of yourself like water. You're way better off to be in a stream, flowing down, has ebbs, flows, fast times, slow times, times when it, cold times, hot times. But the key is to keep moving, okay? Got my trusty journal here. I made some notes in as always. What I want you to ask yourself is, what lights your fire? Because if you don't know what inspires you, what, speaking about karate right now, but if you don't know what it is that lights your fire, how will you feed it? We know that wood makes fire, we know that coal makes a hotter fire, but you got to know what lights your fire so that you can stoke the fire. Does that make sense? So some examples are, when you first start, you're motivated by gradings. That's most people's thing, because you start 6 classes later, you get a grading, yellow tip. 6 classes later, you qualify for yellow belt. 12 classes after that, you get your orange tip. 12 classes after that, you qualify for your orange belt. And then it gets more and more and more, longer and longer and longer. Get about blue belt, halfway, things start to slow right down, expectations go right up, and it gets further and further. So you can use gradings in those early times, but I've been doing karate now for 23 years, been a black belt for about 18 years. It's a long time between one grading to the next grading. And if all I focus on is gradings, my fire is not going to be burning very strong. So you've got to evolve as time goes on. And you got to keep flowing, keep feeding the fire. So what is it that fires you up? Made a bit of a list here, like it might be kata for you, might be kumite for you, might be tournaments for you. Think about a tournament. There might be 4 or 5 or 6 tournaments a year. If you're motivated by tournaments and testing your capabilities, your skills, and seeing where you're at, you can train really hard for 6 weeks, go and do a tournament. Train really hard for another 6 weeks, go do another tournament. Train really hard for another 6 weeks, go do a tournament. Maybe you're ready for grading now. Slightly different focus all the time, but you're working on different aspects of your karate, but you're always motivated and inspired. It may be that you get to a certain point in your karate, it might be about giving back. You might be an instructor and it's like you're motivated to learn something new, or you're motivated to learn the same thing in a different way so that you can better explain it. That might motivate you. It might fire you up. Okay? It's not right or wrong. It's just what lights your fire. So you got to feed your passion. Passion, it's not just natural that you're passionate about your karate. You've got to feed it. You've got to remind yourself of things like, do you remember when you first got your first gi? Do you remember when you first got serious and started ironing your gi? Do you remember that belt? The smell of the belt? The rituals, the traditions, the discipline, the etiquette of karate is something that's really special, but you've got to remind yourself about that. When you get your belt out of your training bag, go, yeah, I remember what it took to get this belt. This is cool. I get to wear this, put it on and be like, yeah, this is cool. 23 years in, I still put my gi on and go, this is unique. This is cool. Every time I come in and I bow into a class, the etiquette, the traditions, I'm like, this is karate. This is cool. This is different. Before I didn't know this. Now it's part of me. Hate to my sensei, hate sensei, yes Renchi, whatever it might be, Shihan, responding, hate. These are little traditions and things and etiquettes and rituals that we go through that you can just sort of let go by the wayside and be like, but no, these are special. Remind yourself how special it is. Become it, make it part of you. And just lastly, you've just got to keep it fresh. Keep it fresh, keep it new, keep it exciting, keep the juice going. Talk to people who are motivated, inspired. Find what your fire is, fire it up. You know, get out there. Doesn't have to be outlandish, but it's got to be, it's cool. See you in the dojo.